However, the ultimate goal is you get certification, right? Because that will improve your marketing value. So right now, if you ask me, we are almost on juncture of 50%, right? Because anytime when you do cloud activity, you divide the activity into 3 or 4 segments, right? One of the segments which we call compute. So last couple of weeks, you might have seen we were talking about compute. The second is called concept, right? Like, what is scalability, what is scale out, what is load balancer, what is this, what is redundancy, all those things are called concept. The union exam, you will see around 10 to 15% question about concept. You will see 15+% about compute, right? Like VMS, VML, virtual machines and how it works, scale sets and all. Then today, it's another beautiful topic called networking. I would say 15 to 20% of exam are based on networking. So after concept, you go to networking and security. So this concept is actually having twofold, networking and security. And that's clear. I am improvising my forum. So please watch and read about forum. We do have PowerPoints also, but don't try to read too much thing because this sometimes it's very confusing. Confusing in the sense of, I always tell people when there are more material doesn't mean more understanding. You need to, whatever understanding you have, should be crystal clear. And if you're very clear, that's all in exam you need. There's so many materials you could go through, like example, many people like hundreds of articles or hundreds of YouTube videos or hundreds of books. You don't know like all the materials are good or bad or correct or not. So in that situation, you will be more confusion. Sometimes you may frustrate because one say A, another say B. So here we're going to do step-by-step approach. But before we start, any questions? So first of all, I'm in Google Class. In Google Class, we do have our PowerPoint, and I'm using the PowerPoint to set the tone because there are a few things I think all of you should know. So as you go in networking, networking means more than one node, machine, resource. So if you have more than one, then you need network. Now, anytime when you want to do networking, every machine should have somewhere to connect. And just like we have phone, machine have NIC card, NIC. Make sure you understand. NIC stands for Network Interface Card. Network Interface Card, every computer should have and have that enable you for networking. Now there are 2 types of networking you can do. One is a private. So you will get a private IP. So private IP which Azure kind of give for cloud to cloud connection. If you are in cloud, right? And if computer wants to talk to another computer, they can talk through private. But if I want to use that machine from my machine laptop, if I want to access from my machine, then I can only access through public IP. So far, so good. So if they ask questions about when you need public IP versus private IP, it's all about external access. So if you want external access, you need a public IP. But otherwise, private IP is good enough. Now, why they do private IP? Because private IP, it's kind of your infinite type of thing, which you can use as much as you want. Public IP, you pay because they are limited. Now, there are 2 patterns on public IP. I'm sure many of you know IP version 4. That's a very popular pattern, which has been market for many years. And now IP6 started. Now, IP6 and IP4 both can work at the same time. So you can configure it. Most of the time, when you do the exercise, we are doing IP version 4, but IP6 also available. Now, sometimes, just for knowledge purpose, why we are doing IP6? Because we ran out of the IP addresses. Because nowadays we are using a lot of what you call connected devices or wearable devices or various internet-enabled things. We ran out of IP. So now IP6 introduced. IP6 people are claiming that it's not going to run. It means we have enough IP to use this forever. Means that's the intention. Now, can I only use IP4? Yes. Can I use only IP6? Yes. Can I use both of them? Yes. So when you do the lab, you just need to configure it. You don't have to worry about it. Now, IP version 4, a little bit you need to know about it. So IP version 4 is designed based on 4 octet. So 4 octet. Octet means if I use 3 digits like this, and if I put everywhere 1, 1, 1, So what will happen here? So like example, total, I have 8 bits here. So 8, 8, 8, and 8. So if I have 8 bits, so what is total bits I will have is 32 bits. So 32 bits you have. Now from the 32 bits, you divide into 2 segments. One segment you divide is the network. And second segment you divide is the host. And that is what we will talk about in next few slides. That is not asked in an exam as such, but in my understanding, you must know about it. Because if you're doing VPN or VNET without networking, it's just like you're floating on the water. You're not really swimming. So what is networking, how it works? You need to understand the thorough part about this, how this IP address is used to define network and subnet. So let me go to next slide and then we'll discuss about the question. So first of all, anytime when companies start a high level as a VNET. VNET stands for virtual net. Just to give you an idea, every computer you use in a cloud, they must be part of it. Now, question as a customer, can I create multiple VNET? Answer is yes. Can I create as many as I can? I think there is a limit. I believe it's 200, but you can create more if you want. Just request what you call Azure, and then they provide. You don't need that, but you have more options. You say, is there any other option? Absolutely. So you can have VNet, which is called virtual network. Why we do virtual network? Because that will allow isolation from other clients. So if I'm working and Rajan is working, I will not see Rajan detail because my VNet will be different and Rajan VNet will be different. So it's given another network 10.0.1.0, and then I have another network 10.0.2.0. So this way I can use like a smaller network for my need. When I do each smaller network, I can have 255 or more machine I want. This way, subnet will help you for grouping aspect, but VNet will help you for master address space. What is master address space? Master address space means if you start with 10.0, it means all your computer in this organization will always starting 2-digit will be always 10.0. Always, because you are defining that master address space. Now, in that, your division, let's example, marketing. If they start 10.01, then everyone who is in marketing will have 10.0.1, and the last digit will be different. But let's say if you are in a finance, then 10.0.2, that will be a 3-digit. The third digit is coming from subnet. But first 2 digits are coming from VNet. So VNet gives you 2 digits, subnet gives you 3rd digit, and 4th digit is your computer. So this way, you can easily identify where this computer belongs to. So if I see here, look at that. If I see that last digit is different, but if you see the first 3 digits are same. So first 3 digits same means they are in the same network, subnet, but last digit is different. Now last digit is machine identification. But if I go further here, then you can say subnet is using 3 machine. And if I go further, then our VNet will be using 2 digits. So this way, VNet normally use 2 digits just to give like enough address space, and then subnet gives you smaller network. Question so far. Good. Now let me show you my machine, my local machine, right? I'm in my laptop. So I go to CMD and I press enter. And if I write an IP config here, just to see here, IP config. So if I write IP config, you will see this concept which I'm trying to explain here. So first of all, you can see here I have subnet line. What does it mean? It means first 3 digits in itexps, all computer which you see in the itexps, first digit will be same, 255, 255, 255. The last digit will vary. It means in itexps, I can have approximately 255 computers. But if I need more than that, then I have to play around this number. And you can do that. So that I'm going to cover in a few minutes. But always you can see when you run IP config anywhere in computer, you will right away know IP config, so you will right away know what is your subnet mask, and what is your computer IP address. And using subnet mask, you will know what is network and what is host. Yes, Rajan, question?
No, I'm good. Go. I think I'm very good. No,
Yeah.
no problems.
Yeah. Now, please understand, when you, like, I'm using Comcast. So what happened? Comcast, when they give, they call uplink. Uplink means they are giving me internet. And from there, I use a switch or routers, and I use that to my computer. So this is like Comcast router, and either I use wireless or route or wire network. So Comcast gives me gateway. Now, anytime gateway means all my traffic in itexps will go through this address. So outside world will not see my local my machine IP address, because those are internal IP. Outside world will only know the gateway IP, which is this one. So this way, you kind of know internal private IP, you can use whatever you want. You don't have that problem. But public IP, you have to consider, because public IP cannot be duplicated in the world. So public IP, like example, if I have this IP address, I give you guarantee others will never have this IP address. Because if two people have same cell phone, then we are confusing. So same thing, IP rule is one machine has that IP address, even though private as well as public, that IP address should not repeat. If it is a private in-house, if I have 5 computers, each computer should have separate IP address, and it has to be different. Same thing, if I use public IP address, each computer in the world should have a separate IP address and should not be repeated. Because if it repeats, we have confusion, they call collision. Now, what happened? There are two types of mechanism people use. One is called static IP, and one is called dynamic IP. So static IP and dynamic IP. Static IP means if I restart my machine, my IP address will remain same, which is not going to happen if I use my laptop, because in my laptop, anytime I connect to the internet, I get a new IP address. So when you get a new IP address, whenever you are connecting, it's called dynamic IP address. But if you have, let's say, printer, or if you have, let's say, database server, or if you have some kind of desktop and you don't want to change IP address whenever you stop or start, then you use static IP address. People will ask question, why do I need static IP address? So static IP address means always you get a same, so client can connect easily. So think about printer. Everyone wants to use printer. If printer keep changing the IP address, then people will have to reconfigure, and reconfigure. It creates a nightmare. Like example, if you have copier, Xerox or copier, or if you have scanner, people want to connect day in and day out, and they don't want to be changing. So that's why you use static IP. Who make decision? You make decision. Is going to be required fixed, then static. If you require like dynamic, then you do dynamic. Microsoft does give you option. Of course, static IP costs you money because it's dedicated to you. Dynamic IP is shared. When you're not using, it will go back to pool. So this way, it kind of reusable IP address. So far, any question with dynamic IP, static IP, and subnet host? This question, this will not be in your exam, but this is very important for you to understand. Yes, Sajid.
Just a quick question. So the default gateway, that's what is external facing, right? And that is where you have to buy that, right? Separate. I mean,
sorry, what's the question? Sorry, I'm not following the question.
So is it the default gateways?
Yes,
one per company?
Yes, every company should have one default gateway. Because if you want to go outside world will not know. Like example, if you're in AT&T, 3,000 employees are working. So when outside people will not know your IP address, they will know only gateway IP address. The reason you can add a firewall in between. If everyone knows, then you are technically not using corporate network, because each network should have one outgoing IP address. But if everyone is using independently and they have their own IP address, which is public, then you are not in the same network. So what's the benefit of network? Network has the same pattern. So if you have same pattern, the flow will go from one gateway.
Okay. All right. Thanks. I know. I'm just thinking, you're purchasing that, right? That's where you have to default gateway IP is unique across the
You're
board.
purchasing static IP. Yes, you're purchasing static IP.
Okay. Oh,
Normally,
even gateway can be dynamic?
sorry, my mistake.
The gateway cannot be dynamic, right?
No. You're purchasing static IP and you're assigning to gateway. So
Yeah, sending it to gateway.
gateway
Okay.
is a machine. Gateway is a machine. You're assigning that IP address. You're assigning IP address to gateway, but you are purchasing IP address. Normally, people purchase IP address is for website hosting, because google.com, right? Like example, let me just show you here. So if I do like example ping google.com, right? So I get IP address. Right now they're using, you can see they're using IP address of IP6 they're using, right? But let's say if I do ping itexps.com. So you can see I'm using here, my IP address is IP4. So I'm using IP4, and IP4 is 32 bytes. And here you can see they're using IP6. IP6, how do I know that? Because it's alphanumeric number. You can see here, alphanumeric number. And here it's a digits. Now, these just to allow us to, if something goes down, we can still survive. So see, I'm able to go to Google. Did you notice that I did not type Google? I just typed this thing. I typed this thing, and I'm able to go to Google. Because this is the way you normally company map that IP address and all. So this is a static IP address which Google bought it, and Google will never release that. If I have this IP address, whenever somebody write Google, it will come to my machine. So that's why IP address is just like your cell number, only assigned to one person. Good. Any other questions? Good. So now let's move forward. So we talk about it. Anytime you want to know what my network, always look for subnet ID. So this is like a change now a little bit. People don't want to write 255, 255, 255. People are becoming like smart. So they said this is the 3 digits, right? This is the 8, by mistake, 8 bits, 8 bits, 8 bits, 8 bits, 8 bits. So let's write a shortcut. So shortcut means, like example, this is 8, this is 8, this is 8, and this is a network. So shortcut is 8 plus 8, 16, 16 plus 24. So now you write 24. This is called CIDR code. CIDR, they call CIDR code. CIDR means like, how many bits define your network. So here, if I say 255, 255, 255, so that defined my network. So total I have 24. But let's say this is 0. In that case, I have 2, means 8 plus 8, 16. In that case, I would say shortcut 16. It means that defined my network. The smaller the number, means more machine, because now these many machine, if I do 0 here, means this many machines I can have. The smaller the number, bigger the network. So if I do shortcut 16, it means I can have so many machines. But if I do 24, means I can have only 255 machines. The smaller the number, means more machine. Because this is a need, this defined network, it means rest of the things are machine. If network is using a lot more bits, then less bits you get for computer. So far so good. Now let's see here. This concept introduced in a later form, the classless internet domain routing. So in a shortcut we call CIDR. So CIDR stands for classless inter-domain routing. Classless. What is classless means? So again, this won't be in your exam. This is just for your knowledge purpose. So classless means the internet journey started. They had only 3 classes: class A, class B, and class C. So class A means shortcut 8, means out of 4 bits, right? The first one was network for class A, which is a huge network, right? Then next was 16. It means 2 bits means 16 bits are network and 16 bits are host. Then next 24. Then 3 bits are network and only last 1 bit is computer. So this is what fixed was there. But then people realize this is not right, because we're wasting so many computers. So many IP. So people say, don't use now, let's customize. Instead of 16, can I do 20? Can I do 26? Can I do 10? So that customization is nothing but classless customization. If you follow 8, 16, and 24. That's called class full. Class full means A, B, and C. But when you say, no, I don't want 24, I want 26, I want 28. So you can do that type of customization. That's the classless network, which we call CIDR. Again, you don't have to worry about exam. You will not see any questions like that. This is just for networking concept. Now, VNET. So let me draw the picture. So you will have now clarity about VNET. So first of all, stop me. Every few minutes I'll take a pause, because when I do lab is complex if you do not understand. But if you understand lab, it's simple. So if I have a subscription. So if I have a subscription, so this is my subscription. This is my subscription. If this is my subscription, please understand, this is my subscription. In one subscription, you can have many VNET. So you can have many VNET. In one subscription, you can have VNET. I think by default, they give 200 VNET availability. What is VNET? It's a virtual network. It's just like in your house, you have a physical network. In a cloud, it represents as a virtual network for isolation, for security. Inside that VNET, you can have many subnet, smaller network. And inside subnet, you can have many computers. The computer will exist in subnet. Can I have a computer without subnet? No. Can I have a computer without VNET? No. VNET and subnet is required in order to have computer, because through that you get your IP address. Now let's talk about. So this VNET has IP pattern, which is we call IP address space 10.0.0, and because you can see first two digits I want to specify, so I say 16. And this one, let's say I want to do pattern 20.0.0.20.0.0, and let's say I have 16. So you can see both network has a separate pattern. This pattern and this pattern. Can I have same pattern? No, you cannot have same pattern. So you need to create a pattern separately. So this one is good. Now let's say if I want to have this subnet, so I can say I have to use first two digits because that's a network. So this guy said 10.0.1, that is his pattern, 10.0, and this guy said my pattern is 10.0.2 pattern. Now this guy say, can I use 10? VNET, are you kidding? This is the number. You have to use this number. So this guy's pattern will be 20.0.1 or anything you can write. And this guy pattern cannot be 10.0.1. They have to use 2 or 3. Because can I use 10 here? No, because this master pattern comes from VNET and then sub pattern comes from subnet. So if I go to this computer inside, what would be the pattern for this computer? Of course, it's coming from subnet, right? So 20.0.2, and then he has a pattern. So that was first 3 coming from his subnet and first 2 coming from his network. So what about these computers? What would be the pattern of this computer? Who will help? Come on, help me. It's okay to speak up.
10.0.2.1.
10.0.2. If you are taking class and if you're not speaking, then this is like very awkward, because this is lifetime you will have to understand. It's okay to make mistake, but if you're not speaking, not participating, it's not acceptable, especially this class, because this is like if you're using cloud and you don't know this, useless. It's just useless, because VPN is a security. It drives everything. All troubleshooting will start from here. So make sure you actively participate. Rajan, thank you. We have 7+ students, right? I was expecting everyone should say something, right? Otherwise, what will happen? You will easily forget this concept. Now, every computer can be stopped at a firewall. So this firewall we call NSG. NSG, which is called Network Security Group. Network Security Group can be associated to a subnet, or you can have association to the computer. You can have any traffic going in or out from this computer has to go through NSG, Network Security Group. That once, if I define Network Security Group, I say what is allowed. Like example, what traffic is allowed? Who can access that? What protocol can access? What port can be accessed? I can allow or deny. By default, everything is denied. But you have to customize what is allowed and what is not allowed. That NSG group you can apply to one subnet, or you can apply to multiple subnet, or you can apply to multiple machines. So in exam, guaranteed question. What controls in and out traffic? NSG. If you do not know NSG, you cannot do any layer because NSG by default stop everything. So if you want to enable, like example, I want to connect to the database, then you need a NSG information, how to allow. Let's say I want to have web server to have NSG. So NSG is a very important thing. Good news, we are using SDN, software defined network. Means few clicks and you're able to create a nice firewall rule. So NSG is very important. NSG through you can access. Without NSG configurations, you will not be able to access machine. By default, all machines are protected because in Azure we use layered security. Security number 1, VPN. Security number 2, subnet. Security number 3, NSG. And there are different ways you apply security. The reason we are using layered security, so you have better secure environment. Now, every computer which you are going to use, some shape or form needs to connect. Either outside people can connect, which is outside people can connect, then they need a public IP. Public IP, if you need outside people. To solve that problem, Azure gives you Bastion network. Bastion network means you can create a special network where people can connect to that, and then through that they can connect. In that case, you don't need a public IP. So ideally, you want to secure all your machine. The best way to secure your machine is don't allow any access from outside world. So what should you do? So think about that any building you enter, there will be a first security gate or admin gate where people will say who you are, why you are here, like that. Why? Because building entrance only one visitor gate where everyone visitor has to come. Same thing, Bastion network, it is like that. Any time when you are using network, people create like a jump box or Bastion network. Here, everything will check. And from there, you are able to access. So people ask in interview question, if I have private IP, can I access from outside? Technically speaking, no. However, there are many ways you can access. One, create a Bastion network. Creating Bastion network, you jump to that box and from there you can access. Second, if I have my machine, please understand, I'm working from home. And if I want to access my private IP, you can through VPN gateway. VPN gateway through you can do that. Now you say, oh, what is VPN gateway? So think about when somebody says, I'm working from home. I am doing VPN gateway because now my machine is now able to create a special over internet encrypted network tunnel. So what happened? I can connect. So that requires both side gateway. So you need a gateway here, you need a gateway here, and you can connect. VPN gateway use public internet, and using public internet, you are using encrypted network. It means any in and out traffic will be encrypted. Most office people use. But VPN gateway is good for when you are traveling or when you are remote or when you are dynamic. So there is another solution Azure gives you called express route. So if I have office and I want 100 people to access that, 100 people to access private network, then there is a dedicated line Azure provides that's called express route. Remember the word express route. Express route means this is only available to you and it's a dedicated. So compared to VPN, you are using dedicated, faster. The only problem here, it's not encrypted. It's not encrypted because they think it's a family. They think it's an in-house. They think it's like the same company. But in VPN, you're going through public internet. So everything is encrypted. So in interview, people will ask question. What's the difference between express route versus VPN gateway? VPN gateway, it's for 1%, 2%, 3% if you want to do that, and it's more encrypted. Express route is dedicated, leased line, faster access. You feel like you are working in the same network. Many big company normally use Azure, then they have to have express route because with express route, everyone can connect to the cloud without having any special requirement. Second thing, you can access private only and only you can access this network through your company or corporate network. And no one in the world can access that. So this is express route gives you dedicated network. Questions so far? So far, so good?
So, yeah, CIDR. I mean, you went there and then you went into the jumper and bastion network, then and the VPN and especially. But how does CDR connects? I do not see the connection between CIDR.
CIDR
classless.
CIDR is not a connection; it's a pattern.
No, I know it's a pattern, but how does it connect to? You have two types, right? Classless and class.
Classless and class full.
So classful. So the classful. How is you have three classes that you showed, but then I'm not understanding CIDR.
I think you missed one thing. Let me repeat. CIDR is a pattern. You cannot connect to the pattern. It's a pattern to define. It is a pattern to define to your VNET or subnet. You only connect to your computer. And a computer will have proper IP address like this. So when you have a computer, remember I draw the line. Computer has a proper IP address, 4-digit IP address, just like But how computer get IP address? That's you're coming through CIDR. So computer get IP address from VPN, 2 digits, 3 digits from 3 digits.
But what is the difference between the classless and class? That's what my question. My question should have been.
So make sure you define the question correctly. It's very simple. Simple. Classless is only 3. You 8, 16, 8, 16, and 24. This is classful. You can only do like /8.
Oh, this is called classful. The class A, class B, class C is called classful.
Yeah, this is classful. If you only gonna use 8, only gonna use 16, this is classful. A, B, and C. Only 8. Always you use A. But let's say I want to do 26. If I want to do 26, or I want to do 20, then it's a classless.
So in CIDR, you don't have classes. You can use anything.
Yeah, it's a shortcut.
Pattern, right?
It's a pattern.
You decide.
Yes, you decide, and you should decide, because if you don't decide, you will have trouble, because you will not know. You will never know what will be the marketing guys. Like here, you will not know what marketing network. You will not know networking on finance. So you cannot apply security, you cannot apply compliance, you cannot apply policy, you cannot do anything. So when you start network, you need to have that pattern. What would be your VNET pattern? What would be your subnet pattern? What would be subnet? Because computer will get from this one. Whatever pattern you define in VNET or subnet, computer will get from them. Right? CIDR is nothing but shortcut. It's just a shortcut. It allows you to have custom network. If you don't want custom network, you only have 3 choices, A, B, and C. Though there are other choices are there, D and E, but those are reserved for government and other particulars. So normally we don't use. We only use A and B and C. Now, in real life, people are still using A, B, C, but it's for private network. But public network now, CIDR is very popular. So CIDR through, you can customize your network the way you can also do different pattern. And it's your choice. Let's example. Just give you an example. I give you an example. Let's example. I need a 4 computer. I just need only 4 computers. I have 32 bits, right? I have 32 bits like this. Now, first bit is 8, second is 8, third is 8, and 4 is 8. If I use class A pattern, I can have 224 machines. Oh my God, that's huge. If I use class B, which is 16, in that case, I will have 216 computers, which is also huge. If I use class C, 24, I can have 208, means approximately 255 computers. But if my need is only 4, what pattern should I use? I need answer. It's okay to be wrong. Which pattern I should use? Remember, Rajan is not only in the class. Everyone should participate. But Mike, you can speak up something. Everyone. What pattern should I use? And 4 bits left for the computer. So if I do 2 power 4, which is 16, it will going to give me 16 machine. Minus 5 in that case, I will get approximately 11 machines. So what about if I do 29? So if I do 29, then I have 3 machines, 3 bits. So 2 power 3, which is 8, minus 5, which is 2 power 3, which is 8, and minus 5. In that case, I will get only 3. So my correct answer is I need to do 28 patterns. And this is where CIDR is very helpful, because you can create a smaller network where you can only have 4 or 5 machines and you're not wasting IP address. There is no point to waste IP address. And if you are understanding CIDR, then you can do any network. And that's why I was spending time on, first you have to select what kind of bits you want for your VPN, sorry, VNet, then subnet. If you say only CEO, only 3 C executive need that, then create a pattern for 28. So you can create a subnet with 28. Why 28? Because there is no additional computer available. So hacker cannot add 1 more machine. If you keep like 256, you're saying that anybody can become all 1 machine in your network and you're allowing that. So there are things you need to understand. Again, if you don't participate, I can do lab, guys. Trust me. There is no benefit you will have for this class. I'll be honest. I don't want to be rude here, but if you don't participate, you will not understand. This is a very, very crucial portion about VNet, because networking happens through this pattern. Rest of the thing is just like a mechanical, right? Click here, click here, click here. Because when you are working on 3-tier architecture, just an example. Let's assume you have another database here, right? Database here, right? And here your client. The client is requesting, and you realize that site is not working, or you are getting error. How would you going to troubleshoot if you do not know? Because each one will have a pattern. How would you troubleshoot? Your traffic, how the traffic should follow, and why traffic is not following, because each person will not have knowledge. So that's why you're taking this class called cloud architect. You should know in and out that, okay, what is my VNet? What is my subnet? What is the pattern? Oh, this entry is wrong. Oh, this firewall is wrong. Oh, this NSG is wrong. Oh, route is not happening. A load balance is in different region. All those things you quickly will resolve. That's why you are taking this class. Though it's not in exam, doesn't mean you should not understand. Make sense? I hope I'm trying to give that, but again, at the end of the day, you define your own career by involving it. Remember, sounds good? Please ask again and again, I'm telling you, because this concept is very, very crucial for your job. Because at the end of the day, security is key, networking is key. Without networking, you can't have application running. You cannot define firewalls, you cannot secure it, you cannot scale well, you cannot even provide safety net. So problem will happen. Tomorrow, let's say you want to do disaster recovery. If you do not know IP addresses, it's not working. Why it's not working? Because you have overlapping IP address. What is overlapping IP address? You did not do pattern correctly, right? Each subnet has a pattern. So that's why we were spending time on patterning. If you don't understand pattern, then you will do random. And when you do random, that's not the way corporate works, right? You are going to be asked in exam, interview, when you go there, draw this thing, explain me this. You should be knowing about that part. So very simple, easy way I'm drawing, but unless you ask or participate, it's very difficult for you to grasp this thing. Anyway, any other questions?
Like I said, I typically use a cheat sheet. I put a couple of them up there. It's a nice, easy reference instead of, unless you do the math or you're good at, you can understand how to do the subnetting, but.
Yeah, anything is fine, as long as you know how you're borrowing the bit, right? Let's continue. So as we go further, we talk about VNet, we talk about subnet. So let's do some exercise, so that way we can go forward. I kind of explain here most of the things, so you can go through the slide also, that you get a pattern from your VNet, then you have subnet, then your machine. So machine get the last digit, but the 3 digits come from subnet, 2 digits come from your VNet. So we discuss about that. So let's create a lab. So everyone jump into Azure account. Let's jump into Azure portal login. Now this lab I have structurally created that. So let me show you the picture how we are going to do lab. This lab is pretty what you call long. So we want to do the like small step by step. So if one step is incorrect, we may not be able to complete the lab. Though you have homework similar, so you can figure it out. I'm gonna do it partially with you, but in case if you have a problem, you can also do the bring homework. So I'll show you the picture, so it will help you what kind of lab we are doing. So I created a nice picture because I really want you to do a good job here. So here is the picture. That's my picture. Okay. So in the morning, I created this picture for you. This is VNET. Load balancer. Two pictures I had. Okay. So we are going to do this thing. I think now everything will make sense to you because I kind of explained here. So first we're going to create a VNET. Under one VNET, we're going to create two subnets. And under one subnet, we will have one machine. So each subnet will have one machine. Then we will configure NSG. Then we'll configure network load balancer. Then we'll try to access. Then we'll create a backend pool. Then we'll try to do health monitoring. If something is down, load supposed to be transferred. So this kind of lab, if you do, then architecture exam, you can easily complete it. But if you just want to do architecture exam without understanding that, I can give you guarantee, you will be very surprised with the questions. Questions are very challenging. So you need to understand how concept works. Architecture exam, if you do this kind of lab, couple of lab, that's it. You can answer anything. Why? Because they will ask you troubleshooting question, right? Does it need a public IP? Will it work public IP? Does it need a public IP? Why you need this? What kind of protocol you need to use, right? What pattern you will have? Why it is not working? Why you did this? This kind of the diagram they will show you. They will ask you question. So if you understand lab, trust me, it's cakewalk. Exams, architecture exams are the easiest exam if you understand the concept. And the most important, do the lab and homework. It will be fun. So let's start with the VNet. We're gonna use naming convention properly because so many components will happen. So we'll use resource group, maybe special resource group, maybe 11, or we can say resource group east, resource group west, because two labs we want to do. If we can do it, great. If not, whatever around can always troubleshoot also. So let's jump in. So first, I'm going to log in. You will enjoy this thing because, and I have added in a homework also similar good lab. So I'm going to create, first I'll create a resource group. So resource group. And at least you give thumbs up. So at least I know that you are following me. Can I count everyone is in a portal? So at least I know that you are with me. Okay, perfect. So 2 people confirm. So rest of the people, I'm hoping you are drinking tea or coffee. Just give a little thumbs up. Remember, you're learning here. The most easy to learn is participating. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you, Ola. Thank you. Thank you. Now, first thing, let's start resource group. So click on resource group. So when I click on resource group, we'll give a naming convention. If I make mistakes in my naming conventions, please help me. So first I'm going to create resource group here. So click on create. And because today's lab, I'm going to create a RG East. RG East. RG East. That's the resource group I'm creating. And review and create. So one step is a resource group. Okay. Resource group is created. And it should be done, review and create. So now we have resource group created. Now we are going to create our VNet. Okay, everything will make sense now because as you go to this point, it will be easier. So in order for us to do VNet, we need to search here. Search here VNet, and if you search in VNet, you will see virtual network. Just write VNet, and you will see virtual network. Follow the flow, please. So first we'll create a virtual network. So here we go. And in virtual network, we are going to give a proper name. So here we are going to create a VNet East. So we're going to click on create. So resource group, let's pick the same resource group East. And I'm going to say VNet East. Again, VNet is not that complex. Creating is so much easy once you follow the flow. So right now we are creating a VNet East. Now go to next. Now here, remember this thing, as I mentioned before, bastion network. Why would you create a bastion network? So if you want all your traffic to flow through this one, that's called bastion network. If I enable that, then this guy will ask public IP address. And if I do that public IP address, all my machines in my cloud doesn't need to be public IP address because everyone will come to here. After a certain check happens, the traffic will go to particular thing. So it's kind of gateway type of thing. It's kind of entry. This is like preferred when you're working as a dev or QA kind of person, where you're connecting to cloud. Bastion is very good. We are not using Bastion for our need, but just to give idea. Second thing, firewall. So what you call Azure gives you firewall, which is fully managed service. You can select the firewall plan, so like a high level plan and all. And then what will happen? Every traffic following to here, you can apply certain rule. What is allowed, what is not allowed. If you use Azure firewall, means they will manage it. It's kind of peace of mind. And for production, I would highly recommend them to do that. It's not going to bother you from any lab, but it's an important thing to do because no one should hijack your machines or certain type of pattern you want to avoid. So this is a managed, fully managed. Who managed that? It is managed by Azure. The Bastion network you are doing. So it's kind of allow you to secure connection that. So you are managing that. And another thing available, which is called DDoS. So if you want like unnecessary, traffic to be stopped, you can also enable that. We are not doing any of them right now, but again, these are the extra features you can add on top of your VNet. This will be question in the exam. If you're going to cloud practitioner exam, you will see 3 questions. So make sure you understand these are all associated with VNet. Now go to next.
Hey, Vishal, my connection dropped. So would you take a minute to say what I need to start on the virtual? Is it okay? I'm so sorry.
No, Sergi, I did not do anything. I'm still in VNet.
Oh, you did not create a VNet.
We have not done VNet yet. We are still in a journey. I just give a name. VNet name I gave VNet East. That's all. And I'm just following the next.
The basics and then security, and then you are in the IP address tag.
Yeah, I have not done anything yet.
Okay. Let me just do that. Okay, thank you.
Now, here is the pattern, which I think we spent enough time. So there is nothing to repeat. If you see here now, you can see the pattern. It is 16. So what we are saying, this VNet will have this pattern. Each VNet must have one default subnet. So at least you should have one default address. So you can see that this pattern, what you see here, it's visible here. And then the third digits are available because you can see they have a pattern 24. It means subnet defined this pattern. Now, please understand, this is the VNet pattern, which is 2-digit pattern. And the subnet has a 3-digit pattern. So if I got machine will always inherit this thing. So now I'm going to add another subnet just to show you how you can add it. This Azure is pretty smart. It will detect that current pattern and it will give me one here somewhere. So it will give me another pattern 10.0.1 and 24. So it will give me 256 machine name back. So let's click on add subnet. We are adding a subnet. Stop me anytime. Make sure you follow the flow because there are so many small things we need to do. The networking labs are considerable. It's fun because you will always run with some issues and you have to troubleshoot. The most important part about networking lab is if you know the concept, you will be able to navigate. If you do not know, no matter what you do Googling, you will not be able to navigate because it's so peculiar in troubleshooting. That's why it's fun. I always tell people, if you are understanding the concept, networking is so much fun. Otherwise, networking is considered as the hardest topic in the world because it is like that. Because you will see that. Even I have done hundreds of times, I also run with so many issues. So let's click on add subnet. Now, please understand, you already have taken name, subnet name, right? So you can see subnet purpose is default, bastion. So there are options available. So if you're using VPN gateway, then you use this one. If you're using VPN gateway, then you're using this one, right? If you're using bastion network, you go. If you're using firewall, you go for that. If you're doing route server, you go. So sometimes they will ask purpose. Why? Because Azure will give you different screen accordingly, but we'll keep it default. And here we are going to give a name. So I'm going to give appropriate name. So here, please understand, we are having VNETs. So here I'll say subnet east 1. So please understand, default is already there. And here I'm giving subnet east 1 means creating. Now, please understand, this pattern is IP address space, right? Range is here, which is 10, 16. This is the VNET pattern. Now, starting address pattern is already here. Now, what do you want to do? So you can see here, it used this pattern and added a 1 here. So pattern changed. So first 2 digits it kept same. Why? Because it did drive by VNet. And then third digit drive by subnet. But 10.0 was taken. So Azure is smart enough. It said this is taken. So I'm going to start with 1. And it said 24. It means maximum I can have 255 computers. So it looks pretty clean to me. Any questions before I do add? Okay.
Everything
Now,
else you're keeping same, right?
Yeah. Now, there are a few things I want you to understand. Number 1, NAT, NSG, and route table. These are also important questions. So NAT, there's a concept called private subnet. So private subnet means anybody outside the world cannot access that private subnet. But if private subnet needs to go outside, they also cannot access. They from inside, if they want to go to Google or somewhere, they cannot access it. To solve that problem, private subnet need NAT. If you have NAT, then private subnet can access external internet. That's all you need to know right now, because this is more a DevOps or admin type of thing. But if you want to access from private subnet, so whenever subnet is private, any machine you put it here will not be able to access internet. But if you want to access internet, then you do enable NAT. NAT will allow you to have public internet access. So that's NAT purpose. NSG we're going to use today. So you will understand NSG. Right now, we are keeping NSG empty, but we'll do that NSG as we go further. So route table will cover as we go, but I just did only one thing. Check it out. Subnet east 1. And now do add. So you can see here, I have two subnet. One is the default and second is this. Now it's at that level. I'm going to do next and review and create. So let's click on review and create, and very soon it takes less than 10 to 5 seconds and you will see VNet is created. And give me thumbs up if you are able to see that your VNet is created. See, it's so easy. Yes, Rajan, question?
Okay, so yeah, so one VNet name, and then you created a subnet east, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we have pretty much done all default settings at this point of time. Yeah, okay, I'm there.
Yeah. So now go to resources. Thank you, Ola. Thank you, Mike. Trust me, it's very, very helpful when you give me some kind of confirmation. So at least I know. Go to resources. So I go to resources. Now you can see here something basic understanding, right? If you come here, I'm in a resources. My VNet name is east, right? I have resource group, which I'm using here. And you can see here, the most important thing, address space. Please understand. Without address space, the confusion will start, because when you are doing VNet peering or when you are using VPN gateway, this is the most important. The problem is you cannot change it once you create it. So that's very important part. Now, here, if I want to see connected device, so if I click on connected device, right now there is no connected device. Okay, there is no connected device. Did I set up subnet? Yes. So if I click on subnet, I can see the subnet. I have two subnet. One is default and one is this. And you can see that subnet does have its own pattern. Subnet right now doesn't have security group, doesn't have routing table. Okay. Now, available IP is 251 because, as I mentioned before, Microsoft takes 5 IP addresses. Next, Bastion network we didn't specify, otherwise it should have created. DDoS we didn't specify, firewall we didn't specify. But one thing I want you to do is search here diagram. In here, just search diagram. Please search diagram and click on diagram and see what you see here. Search and diagram. We are in a VNET and search here diagram and click on diagram. See what you get. So you can see the picture is clear now. Give me thumbs up if you're able to see the diagram. In one VNet, you see 2 subnet. Good. So congratulations for creating a subnet. Now we are going forward, right? We'll take a break in after 10 minutes, but we are moving forward. We want to do this exercise. So right now, instead of subnet 1, I have default. And instead of this, I have subnet 1. So this is what we have. Now we are going to create VM and VM. And this VM will keep a private IP address. We're not going to do public. We're going to do private IP address. Private IP address. Okay, we are going to do private IP address. We are not going to do public. Or if you want to test it out, we can do public IP address and we can deassociate, whichever works for you. So let's do public IP address and then we'll deassociate that. That's also fine. Let's play around. Let's do one thing. One, we can create a public IP address, and one, we create a private IP address and we deassociate. So it will be easier for us to understand. Please understand. This one is subnet different. So we'll put in a default here and we'll put it here in a what do you call subnet 1. Make sure you remind me because sometimes I make mistakes too. Okay. So these patterns are pretty good defined. Now let's create a VM. So before I create the VM, let's do one public IP address. So here, search here and say public IP. Just search public and you will see public IP address. Just search public and you will see public IP address. Click on public IP address. Click on public IP address. Now when you click on public IP address, it's just an IP address you can anytime associate with computer. So whenever, please understand how it works. Public IP address, we call PIP, public IP address, normally you associate it to VM. So when you associate to VM, the way you associate to VM is they call NIC card, just like Ethernet card, network internet card. So you associate that. And when you don't need that, if you deassociate, it becomes a private machine, private IP address. And if you associate, it's a public IP address. So this public IP address I can use anywhere, wherever I want. I can assign to load balancer, I can assign to computer, I can assign to others. So it's a reusable and you can destroy it later also. So we're going to say create. And here, same subscription, RG East. Region is same and configure details. So we'll say name. So we'll say public IP, so PIP East. PIP East. And also, if you want to have like some kind of redundancy and all, you can select that. If you want global and all kind of things, you can select. But right now, we can keep it default. So PIP East. Now, it is asking IP address is static because you are getting that. So you can see here, it's static and dynamic options are here, but it's selected. And right now, we are not going to change any of them. So perfectly fine. I'm going to do next and next and create.
This has to be global name or?
Sorry, my mistake. Everything is default.
No, what I'm saying is we have to have a unique name here or no? Not
no. This is an internal purpose for your knowledge. You will remember this name that you created that. So it's just a name.
Yeah, what I'm saying is, Tushar, in the Azure world, this would be a unique name, global,
No,
or it is
I
unique
don't
name
think so.
for you?
I don't think
Okay,
so.
perfect.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So right now, please understand, I have IP address, which is independent. Okay. Now let's create a virtual machine. We are doing step by step, so you can easily understand. These are Lego blocks. The goal of this exercise is to do this one, right? So this one I created, I created this one right now. I will be associating dynamically, and I'll show you that. So it will be fun. Yeah. So now go to here and say virtual machine. Already you have, if not, search it. If you not have, just search it, virtual machine. Now, please understand, in order for me to create a virtual machine, one, I'll create a private, and then I'll associate the IP address. So this way you will know how it association and other works, right? Because otherwise, what is the fun, right? Let's do fun. So click create Azure machine. I think you know very well this process. We did quite well. So now if you scroll down, make sure you select the same resource group, so that way it will be easier when we done. We will delete that. So easy. Now virtual machine, I'll say VM East 1. VM East 1. Region is same. I don't want to change anything. Security type is same. Nothing, no change.
This is going to be our public.
Where is the public? No.
Is this the public or the private?
Networking, I'll show you, Mike. In networking, I'll show you. Right now, I'm just giving the name of the machine.
Yeah, I was just going to throw public or private in the names just so I didn't screw them up.
Oh, no, don't do that way. Just keep VM East 1.
Okay.
Yeah, just VM East 1, because we will be using both ways. So that's why I'm just give a VM East 1. We are going to use Windows machine. So let's select Windows 2019 data center Gen 2. Let's select that. So please understand, I'm not changing much here. The only thing I need to remember is I'm using the same region. Okay. Same region I'm using. I selected Windows 2019 because it's easier for me to check the web server. So that's why it is. Now run with Azure Spot. Now I don't want to do that. Enable Hibernate. No. Now it is asking username and password. Let's write down. So I'll say Azure user. I'll copy that. Make sure you remember that, because many times I forget my password. And now it is asking password, which is longer password. So we'll say Azure 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That should be fine. Let's see if that works. Yeah, that's fine. And Azure 1, 2. So I use the capital A, and then Azure 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. So far, so good. Please understand. Now here, this is, please see here, public inbound ports. Okay. Now I don't want you to do any of this, because I want to teach you NSG as a Lego block. As I mentioned before, everything we are doing by our own. Okay. It will be fun, but sometimes if the problem happens, sometimes we will not be able to do. And that's why this exercise become more interesting. So we'll say none. Why we are doing that? Because I want to configure my NSG separately. So that's why we are doing. Make sense? If simple lab, I would have done straightforward RDP.
What is the connection between inbound and NSG? 1 second. Okay.
NSG is a firewall.
I think. Yeah. Got it.
Anything
and you're using none.
Yeah. NSG is a firewall. You're saying what is in, what is allowed or not is not allowed. So I say in, nothing. Right. So I have to create my own NSG later. Make sure you remind me. I'm trying to do this diagram, guys. And in case if you're still not following me, make sure you understand, in order for me to teach you all, I need to create each Lego block separately. Make sense or not? This Lego block, that is and there are so many Lego blocks. So sometimes, we make mistake, but you guys help me here. Okay. So we are not doing, and now let's go to, I would say check mark, because otherwise it will cry. Check. You have to check that. It will cry.
Hold on, Tusha, please. I don't know why it's not receiving my password. The password that I created is not.
Yeah, it will not take it. You need to make sure you use this type of password. That's why I'm showing you my password. Make it easy, my friend. So A capital, Azure 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right? It will take it. If it takes for me, it will take for you as well. Right? Don't do special case or at and all. Keep it easy. Right?
Okay, good.
Yeah, I learned hardware too. So now let's go to disk. In disk, we don't have any problem here. We'll keep it default. I don't think we need any of this. So go to networking. Here is the most important part. Okay. Here is the most important part. So please understand. I want everyone to understand. Now we are at that place where we have a VNET and we have two subnet, and we have one public IP address. So it says your VNET is this, which I completely understand. I agree. And it says your subnet. So do I want to put my machine here? If yes, I would select this subnet. If I want to put my machine here, I need to change the subnet. So I have options to change the subnet because I have two subnets. Remember, we have this one. Sorry, we have two subnets. Remember, we created. So right now, I'm going to use default one. Okay, but can I change here? Yes, you can. Can I use different machine? One machine here and one machine here? Yes, you can. When you do lab at your home, when you do homework lab, you should do this thing. Trust me, you will lifetime be proud when you do such kind of lab. Why? Because in interview, it will be cakewalk. Because people will ask you to draw, people will ask you to troubleshoot. You should be able to do that. So right now, I'm going to keep it default. It is asking, do you want to use public? I would say none. You say, why? Because I want to show you association and association with the public IP. And in order to do so, I'm going to use none. So remember, we have not selected NSG and we are not selecting IP. So if I don't select IP, public IP, then it becomes a private. Make sense or not? So this is a private.
Yep.
Now, NIC group, it is asking, do you want NIC group? I'll say no. I'm going to do later. None. So everything is none. Accelerated networking by default, it is there. I'll keep it like that. And delete NIC when the VM is deleted. I'll say check that. It's good thing to do. Now it says load balancer. We are saying none. We will add later. We're going to add load balancer later. Everything is none. Make sure you follow the flow. If there is a differences, we might have problem. Okay. In exam, there will be a question. There are two types of load balancer. We call ALB and one is called NLB. So, sorry, I'm stuck. This is different. Here, this is NLB and this is ALB. ALB stands for application gateway. Means if you are trying to route traffic based on URL pattern, then you use this one. If you're trying to transfer the traffic based on TCP, then or without understanding, then you use this one. This one is kind of router or switch layer. So it's a layer 4, and this is more HTTP layer. It's kind of application web server or web services like that. So this is called layer 7. Again, layer 7 is more application level, more advanced. This one is more traditional. I'll show you as we go further. So just to FYI, when you do quiz tonight, it should not be, oh my God, I have no idea. Application layer is nothing but HTTP. So if you write Google/Rajan, it will go to Rajan page. Google/Mike, it will go to Mike. Then you need this one. But if you want like a blindly send here, traffic you're sending, then you use NLP. Can I switch? Yes, you can. But if you're not having HTTP traffic, then you can't use it. But this one can work with application, HTTP traffic, and it will also work on a TCP traffic. So normally this is my choice. Always my choice is this one. So right now we are not selecting any. Okay, we are not selecting any. Now let's go to next. Monitoring and all we don't want to do. Just let's review and create because I think we are done. So let's do review and create. Review and create. And congratulations, you have created your first VM. Now the VM is created. It's going to take a couple of minutes. Please understand, you have created this VM under your VNET. So your VNET is east. It may take a few minutes to create. While it is creating, I want to go back to my virtual network. So while it is creating, I want to go to my virtual network. So you search on click on this and your virtual network. If you don't have virtual network, you may want to find that virtual network. So you have search virtual network, or you can click on that. I want to see, does it recognize my new machine? So I click on that. I have machine. I click on it, and I search diagram, and I would see my machine will be like building it, and you can see nicely there is one machine is visible, right? You can see that. Let me zoom it. So you can see now it is trying to do that VM East. So it's creating internet. So you can see default subnet has one machine visible, right? Other subnet doesn't have it. So again, good to see that. Are we doing right or wrong? This is also give you clue that yes, VM East, there is a subnet, there is one machine is about to create. Now let's search on a virtual machine again. Go back to virtual machine and click here. So virtual machine, you are here. Give me thumbs up. A virtual machine is up and running. So search virtual machine and give me thumbs up. So your virtual machine is up and running. Awesome, awesome. Now let's click on the virtual machine. We're going to learn how to create NSG and how to associate with the public IP. So click on it.
On virtual machine?
Yes, click on virtual machine, click on the virtual. Anytime you want to toggle, just search your virtual machine and then click on the virtual machine. Right, click on virtual machine and then click on connect. Click on connect. So when you click on connect, you will see that it is giving me options here that you want to connect here, right? So connect via RDP, right? And it says recommended for testing only, private IP is this. So I'm going to try to connect. I'm pretty positive I will not be able to connect. So please understand, this IP is a private IP. So my machine should not be able to connect, but I just want you to see this. So VNET, now download the RDP file. It will be downloaded, right? It should be downloaded in your local machine. Go to local machine. You should have downloaded RDP file somewhere. So I just downloaded it. And if I double click on it, it will try to connect. It will ask me username and password, but it will error out because I know this is a private IP. Give me thumbs up if you get an error because you will not be able to connect because this is the private IP. So that was the point I wanted to provide, that you cannot connect. Are we good with that? So now we have
it won't connect, right? Yeah.
Of course it won't connect because it's a private.
Yeah.
Now
it won't even ask the username password too.
Yeah. So now we are going to use this VM with our public IP. Remember, we created public IP, so we're going to associate this. And then we'll take a break. Once it works, we'll take a break. Okay. So now, how do I do that? That's an interesting question. So let's click on networking. Networking. So if I click on networking, I see there are options available. So you can see here, right now, I'm in networking and I can see NIC public IP is nothing. There is nothing public IP. Okay. But I can see here there's a network interface is exist. This network interface is exist. Okay. So I have a couple of ways I can try to connect. So I'm going to click on network interface and I can try to see if I can associate. I need association, right? So I'm clicking on networking. I can see literally new IP address is, sorry, public IP is not there. So I'm going to click on this interface and see if I can associate. So if I click on that, so I'm in a NIC. This is the Ethernet card. And in Ethernet card, there is a concept called IP configuration. So let's click on IP configuration.
One second. So on the VM, you are clicking on network, what? Network settings?
Sorry, my mistake. Now I'm not sure where you are.
No. On the VM, you clicked on the network settings to come here, right?
Network interface. There was, I think, network interface configuration.
But how do I go to NIC?
Go to VM.
Uh-huh.
Go to VM. So
right.
Go to networking. Right. Once you are networking, you go to NIC, this one, interface. I hope you are able to see my screen.
I can
the
see.
The problem is that there is no networking on my own side.
Everyone should have it. Hello, everyone.
Yeah, I'm also not seeing. I see networking.
You are in a virtual machine.
I see network settings, but I don't see what you are seeing.
Yeah,
network setting is the same. Just click on it.
It should be there, guys. It should. Why you would want?
I also have network setting, and I clicked on it, and I'm here.
Because you do have a private IP. It's not like you don't, right?
Once you click on it, then you find your network interface. Then you click on it.
Got it?
Okay. Yeah.
Do you have different option, network setting? Or similar? I thought you should have similar option. We did same layer. Okay, I'm hoping you guys are following me because we have.
Yes.
So let's click on it. And then go to IP configuration. And then in IP configuration, you will see the options available here. So what are the options we have? Let's see here. So enable IP forwarding, I don't need. Virtual, I have. The private and public address can be assigned to virtual machine, right? So I'm going to do add. I'm going to do add and see if I can associate my public IP address. So no, 1 second. This is IP1. I don't want to create add IP configuration. No, that's not one. Now let me click on this is private. Yeah, this one. So I'm in IP configuration. Okay, I'm going to click on this one, right? Because it says private is not associated. Until I get associate, I'll go to this one. So now, does it give me options to associate? So right now, it doesn't give me associate.
Yeah, it's down there. Associate public IP address.
Where do you see that? Oh yeah. That's all I was looking for. Associate. Okay. Now here we need to pick our associated, which is this one. Remember, we created. We don't want to create new one. So use our one. So make sure you public check this and get that. And now save it. A lot of clicks. Sometimes menus are a little different when you are in a context aspect, but now it's associated. So now I have IP associated. If you guys are okay, we can continue and not take a break because 30 minutes I have and I want to make sure I at least complete the one lap. Okay, because the problem will happen when you take a break, we'll lose time and this may not be done. We'll done by 10:30. So right now 9:40 we have. So what do you guys think? Should we continue? There are still we have 20. Yeah, thank you. So it is going to save this thing. While it is saving, I'm gonna right now it's taking a little time, but once we connect that, it will be done. and I will see here IP address. See, I am able to see now IP address. Give me thumbs up if you are able to do so. Good, very good. That keep me on a track, because sometimes what happen, I make mistake because there's a screen and there are so many clicks. So right now, I want to connect now because I have IP address. Okay, I have IP address. If I want to connect, what am I going to do? Go back to virtual. So breadcrumbs is here, right? This breadcrumbs, click on the virtual machine, and or maybe you can click here and go to that virtual machine and try to connect. Try to connect. So if I click on networking, and now if I try to connect, I will have a new RDP because there's a public IP address, and it does show that. It does show my public IP address, which is good. Now I'm going to download the RDP file. This will be a new RDP file, and you click on it and connect. And this time, you still have a problem. What could be the problem? Who will help me? This is $1 million question.
You don't have support.
Excellent, Mike. Excellent. So guys, Mike is 100 points. So here, please understand, these guys are not letting me go in because I have not configured NSG. So by default, everything is denied by default. You guys agree? Deny by default. So it doesn't allow me to go in. Now we need to create NSG. You see how interesting it becomes? 1, 2 lab you do, that's it. Lifetime you won't have problem because you have VM. It has a public IP address, but you cannot connect because there is no NSG. So let's create NSG. So how do I create NSG? So search here on search bar, and we'll create a network security group. So we'll say NSG, and you can see that NSG search, and you get the network security group. Let's click it. So you click on it. So when you click on it, you have options, right? And now you click on create. Click on create. Click on create. Now when you create, the only thing, naming convention must be properly done, otherwise you'll have trouble. So I'll select my Arch East. Now name, because it's just NSG, East, NSG East. NSG East. I hope everyone is following. NSG East. And now create. So creating network security group is not a complex part. So validate and pass. But I now have to define inbound rules, which I think Rajan asked, right? So now I need to define inbound rule. And because I'm doing RDP, I need to have RDP allow. By default, everything is denied. So my NSG is created. Let's go to resource. Give me thumbs up if you are able to see this screen or similar screen. Good. Because of awesome. Now check it out. There will be one question in your exam that by default, please understand, by default, all are denied. By default. However, the priority is high. The number is high. The number is high. The more higher the number, priority is lower. Higher the number, priority is lower. What does it mean? It means if I want to allow, I need to start with the number, lower number. If I do lower number, that lower number wins. Lower number wins. And a higher number will lose that. So by default, it's denied. So you can see there is no RDP allowed. So we'll not be able to connect. So let's allow that. So what should we do? Right? So here you can see here, allow VNET bound, all those options are available here, right? So in this situation, deny all bound, any, right now it says all those options which we have here, it's you can see all those options are not helping me here, right? So what we do? So in this situation, inbound, I went to inbound, and now I'm going to add one rule. So inbound. Rajan, I'm hoping you are able to see it. I'm not sure Rajan drop or what. Add inbound add.
I lost the connection, so I missed a lot of things, but I'll come back.
You are in US, right, or India?
India.
Okay, that's right. Okay, no problem. Inbound. So make sure you are in inbound. Now here, what is the things we want to allow? So I will say allow any, right? Allow any. So what is the options here? So priority is this, but let's see what are the sources here. So source is any, source port range any, destination any, and services. If I want specifically service, what are the options? I want allow RDP, right? I want allow RDP. If I want HTTP, whatever I want to allow. So these are options available for me. So I can say I want to allow RDP first of all. Okay. So RDP allow, I'll say add. Okay, add. So the RDP I'm allowing. Let's do one more, add. And here, services, let's do HTTP. HTTP, add. So HTTP add, and again add. And services, HTTPS, add. So I'm right now allowing this. So I had a couple of rules, guaranteed one question in the exam, how to add rule. Remember, lower the number, higher the priority, right? So I did that. So please understand, at this moment, we have configured NSG, but we have not associated NSG to our machine. Remember our VM? Our VM, we associated public IP, but we have not yet associated NSG. So now we need to associate this NSG to VM, so then we will be able to connect. How to do that? So go to search for virtual machine. I'm hoping all of you are following, right? Virtual machine. Now click on virtual machine, and in that, let's see if I can do networking. And in networking, do I have a way to connect NSG here? I do not see if security rule here, so I'm going to try. I have a NIC here. I have network subnet here, so I'm going to go with this interface. Let's go here. Here, same. This is where we did public IP, and that should be option for me. Here you go. There will be option for me to do network security group. So click here, network security group. And in network security group, if we can drop down, I have my NSG is. Give me thumbs up if you're able to see this. Good, Mike is good. Hola. Good, good. I'm not sure what happened with Priyank. Priyank seems like drop. Now save it. So save is done. Saving is done. So network security group, we are able to save it. At this moment, I have RDP. I will want to try it out and see the magic. So double click on your RDP, which you download second time, right? Double click on it and see this time, does it prompt you username and password? Still mine is good. Mine is somebody, oh, sorry, I'm using wrong RDP, sorry for that. It's still using 10. It's supposed to be this one. Sorry for that.
Yeah, connected.
Yeah, connected. Awesome. You guys are rock, man. Thank you for confirming. See, guys, this is so much fun. You won't believe like how much fun is this, because networking is one of the most interesting thing in cloud. Otherwise, your machine, right? You're doing autopilot. The troubleshooting part, which is making this whole class more interesting. So we are in. I would say congratulations. You learn how to do this part. Up to this, we are done. So we are kind of 60-70% done. So congratulations. Right now, I can, with confidence, I can say that you know how to create a machine. You know how to create a public IP address. You know how to create NSG, and you know how to connect to this one, this thing, and you also know how to allow certain traffic. I mean, at this moment, we are good. Now, next step, which we are going to do, is we're going to install IaaS server. Once we install IaaS server, we are going to create a load balancer, and then we'll configure the load balancer. We'll stop and start, and we'll do. I'm supposed to do 2 machines, but we'll run out of time, so we'll play with the 1 machine and see the concept. So now, once we log into this machine, we will enable IaaS server rule. So we'll start IaaS server. So I'm in a machine. Search PowerShell. Search PowerShell. PowerShell. Search PowerShell. PowerShell. And when you see the PowerShell, please, when you search PowerShell, right click and write as an admin, run as an admin. So when you start PowerShell, right click and run as an admin. So you can get a blue screen. See blue screen. Okay, so that is very good sign. Now I want you to copy this command there. So I'm going to paste this command in my first, making sure that works on mine. I'll give you this command in a chat. Just put it in that command, and it will install web server for you. IaaS web server for you. Give me thumbs up if that command works for you, because that is nothing but installing web server. So just let it go. It will install web server for you. In few minutes, IaaS server will be running on your machine.
Where did you put the chat?
I did put the command in the chat. It is also in the forum. Or in the forum also. Just about this diagram, Rajan. This is the command. It's in chat also. It takes a couple of minutes, but I'm hoping you will be able to see it's installing IaaS server and it's done. When it is done, on your machine itself, in that machine, see if you are able to see IaaS server. If you are, give me thumbs up.
Nice.
Sorry, my mistake.
And I am not able to see the chat on the window.
So at least I'm able to see the IaaS server. Others are able to install.
Can somebody ping me a chat, please, one more time?
I'll
just say hello.
No, I'll do it. Not a problem. Here you go. Chat should be visible, Rajan. I understand you're different, but chat should be same for everyone. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not seeing chat on the Zoom. I don't know what's going on with me now today.
Okay. So everyone got the IaaS server, right? I saw a couple of thumbs up. So if you're able to see IaaS server, congratulations.
Still installing.
Sorry, my mistake. You're installing?
Still installing.
Okay, no problem. So this is what IaaS server running. Why we are doing this IaaS server? Because we want to have a web server, because then we can have a traffic come in like that. And if I have 2 machines, I'll pretend that I have 2 machines, but if I have 2 machines, I can stop this thing and traffic would have moved here. And in order for the reason why I've been installing web server, so we can have a health monitoring. So I want to show you that step by step, how to do health monitoring. I see Ola, your thumbs up, so I'm assuming you are able to install IS server. Now, that IP address we have, while Mike is installing, I have IP address of that machine, right? So I'll go back to my VM and try to access that machine directly. Try to access that machine directly through overview. I should have, see, I'm in a VM. While Mike is installing, I'm in a VM, right? And I have IP address of public. Let's copy this and put it in your browser and see if you are able to access the web browser, what do you call it? IS server. So ideally, you should be able to access browser, and I'm able to access. So give me thumbs up if you are. Give me thumbs up if you are able to access IS server from your laptop.
It works.
Sorry, my mistake.
It works.
It works.
Yes.
Please understand, we are using VM. VM has a public IP, so I should be able to access this thing through public IP. Mike, you're good?
Yeah, I just had to redo it or restart it, and now I got it.
Okay. Now, please understand, our machine is working. Now, rule number one, before you do this exercise, I'm going to show you, and I want you to understand. We are going to create load balancer. But load balancer need a public IP address. But load balancer can only work with a private IP address. Private IP address. So good news, we have public IP address, but currently we associated with this guy. So we're gonna deassociate this, and we're gonna associate here. Once we associate this guy, then we will be able to connect. But load balancer only should have a public IP. World can come only here. They should not directly go here. If they go, then there is no point of load balancer. So why we use load balancer? So load balancer, the main reason of load balancer is the performance. Means if you are adding more machine, right? If you're adding more machine, your load will be equally divided. So that's the performance. And second, if a couple of machine goes down, your load will automatically go to the healthy machine. So failover. So two main reasons load balancers are performance. So you're auto scaling and you're using all machines. And the second is the redundancy. But right now the problem I'm having is I don't have this thing. So we're going to create load balancer. And then we are going to disassociate the public IP address and associated public IP address here. So let's do it one by one. So search here, load balancer, the search load balancer, load, and I can say load balancers here. Easy, load balancer here. Let's click on it. Can I use different IP address for the load balancer? Yes, you can. Nothing wrong in that, but why to create, which we have, we will use it. So you will see how I go to that. So load balancer, you are doing it. So you will remember all those things. That's what was very important. So create. So when I create same resource group, select resource group East. Please understand this East. Name. So I'll say load balancer NLB East. NLB East. Now we're going to keep it all thing, but here there is options here. Interview question. Load balancer has two types. One load balancer which is the public facing. So in our case we want public facing. Or load balancer is private, which is internal. So let me show you the picture so we'll understand with the picture. Just bear with me for a second. Yeah, this one. So here you can see this picture. I have two load balancer. One load balancer is public facing, which is public. So public facing, we need a public IP. And one load balancer is the internal, which doesn't require. So here we are talking public facing. So here we need to do public. And it is asking, do you want regional or global? By default, we'll use regional because we are in same region. But if you want multi-region, then we'll use global. Now let's go to next. I'm hoping everyone is following. NLB is this. So now I'm going to follow in. Now, if I go here, it says, where is your IP configurations? So add front-end IP configurations. So here, actually, I need to add my public IP. So if I click in here, it give me, say, okay, what is your thing and what is your public IP? So right now, I have PIP East, I have, right? So I cannot be associated with this load balancer, right? I click on that, but it's the IP address is already associated with other thing. So technically speaking, I can't move forward. Make sense or no? So I have two choices. I can create a new one, right? I can create a new one, brand new, and go forward, or somehow I need to come back. So right now I'm going to cancel it. I don't want to do it. I'll go back to my PIP. So search IP, a public IP, my mistake. Public IP, the search public IP. And if you remember, public IP address we have here. So search public IP, please follow me. So please public IP. So you go to public IP. I'm gonna discard that because I can't do it unless I have that. So I'm in PIP. I'm hoping all of you are following. So I search public IP, and through public IP I'm here. And now click on it. So when I click on it, I have opportunity to associate and deassociate. So right now, please understand this PIP is associated because I can see here it is associated is gray. It means it's used. So I'm going to just say deassociate. Make sense? So I'm going to do deassociate. So it's associated to this VM. So it will deassociate. So just click on deassociate. Let's say, are you sure you want to deassociate? I'll say yes. So at this moment, this is going to take a couple of minutes, but it will deassociate. Give me thumbs up if you're able to know how to deassociate now. Good. As I mentioned before, you are learning by doing it. So it's very important.
Yeah, I'm getting the same message. Failed.
Okay, sir. What is this? Superseded operation. It failed. Let's try one more time. Deassociate. It should be able to do. Saving. It says fail to save IP address changes for network interface operation. Put unique operation was cancelled.
Is it because we still have the RDP on? Maybe that's why.
Not necessary because it's supposed we can stop. It's automatically stops here.
Mine just cleared.
It should be done.
Takes a minute, I think.
Yeah. Let me refresh it maybe. It should be. Sometimes I'm thinking about, see it done. It done. Even it's giving me error, but technically it's done. Refresh it.
Yeah, it's done. It needs just a little more patience.
Yeah,
It's done. It's done.
Yeah, done. Now let's go to again load balancer. Thank you, Ola. Load balancer. So search load balancer again one more time. Go to load balancer. We are almost done. We're almost there. Load balancer. Let's create one more time. Same concept. Create. And here select your RG East. And here VM. Sorry, not VM. NLB East. NLB East. Don't forget we need a public one, right? Don't forget we need a public one. So this is the only change I need. So RG East and public. Now, just to give idea in case if you are in the exam, the SKU as you select, right? Standard, basic, and all these are increasing the cost, but at the same time give you redundancy, the benefits. So you can move your mouse and you can see that it just increased the cost. So to standard load balance network, with the extreme performance is required, right? Otherwise, basic, again, for time being we'll use it, but normally the cost increase as you select. Go to front-end configuration. Let's do add. This time we should be able to add it. So here, I'll give a name front-end configuration. So like example, web server. So I'll say web IP NLB, something like that. So that way it will help me. Public IP address. So I have selection here. So I can select. Now it's a gateway load balancer. I don't need that. I don't think we need any of that. So this is perfect. Give a name here because you are doing web load balancer to web server. If I'm doing load balancer to database server, I would have given name accordingly. Okay. So now review and create. So we have one step done. Review and create. Remember our what do you call it? Our VM has private IP now, so we cannot access VM. So if I refresh this thing, right? If I refresh this thing now, our VM IP address is no longer accessible, but we can access through load balancer. That's the intention, because our intention of our exercise is what we are doing right now. Our exercise intention is very straightforward. That if somebody want to access this web server, they have to go through this one. So we should be able to do, and if we do this part, then you're done for this lab. So right now, this is not going to work. But now my NLB setup, let's go to resources. Here, I want you to understand two things. Front-end IP configuration, which customer will see. Please pay attention. The front-end IP, which customer will see. The back-end is like this. Customer will come to front-end, and then NLB will come. And back-end is where the traffic really will flow. So for our case, back-end is our VM. That's our back-end. So you can have pool of that, more than that. So pool. Health means when can we say that this machine is down? When can we say this machine is down? Right? So that's the health problem. So we're going to do that. And load balancing means like if you have multiple machine, how can you say that how equal load balancer, sticky session, so that like user request always go to same machine. That's called sticky session, right? Or weight load. You can define that. So I'm going to show you quickly also. But right now, let's click on front-end IP. And in front-end IP, I see my IP address is this. Copy this IP address. Or highlight and copy this IP address. And request that to the browser. And what happened right now? It's still not working. Why? Because we have not set up backend pool. We have not set up backend pool. We are able to send request to NLB, request going to NLB, but NLB doesn't know where to forward the request. So request coming to NLB, up to this is coming, but it's not able to pass to the backend. So let's do that. So click on backend pool. Now, I hope all of you are following me. Very almost there. Backend pool, let's click on add. Click on add. And here we should see my VM. So you can give a backend pool name. So I'll say VM web VMs. That's my pool. VMs. Now virtual network, which is East by default. Now it is asking backend pool configurations. It's a NIC or IP address. So I have NIC. NIC means like a network card. So if I do add, I should see my VM because I have one VM. It will be visible. So if I say add, ideally I should see VM. Yes, I can see now. I check that it has a private IP address. I'm able to check add. So now it's added. Give me thumbs up if you're so far with me. Good, very good. So here you add and you check. Very good. Now save it. So this is your backend pool is configured. It's easy. If you have multiple machines, I would have configured multiple machines here. So backend pool is configured. Now NLB knows how to forward the traffic. It knows how to receive the traffic and it knows how to forward the traffic. So save it. It take a second or two. Ideally, it should have stopped now, but it did not some reason. it took a little longer than I thought. But let's refresh it and see if that does a magic. Ideally, I should see the page. Seems like my save button, some reason took longer than I thought. This is not yet. Are you guys able to save quickly or no?
No.
Yeah, no, it's still rolling.
It's still
It takes a bit.
okay. I'll wait for you.
Tushar, just, I mean, I think I'm not following with you, but I'll have to repeat this. Once I have the recording, I'll do that. So what you did is just you created a NLB and you routed the traffic to VM East.
Yes.
Correct.
Yes. This is the whole.
And the VM East is running what? What is VM East running?
Yes,
Oh, it is. Did you install? That's the command that was done to install the IS.
Yes.
Okay.
So,
So, but the command that you run to install IS was done in PowerShell on the desktop.
that VM, that VM. We log in, right? That VM we log in through RDP. Remember, we logged in with RDP.
Oh,
After
RDP. Okay, I
after
got it.
RDP,
Okay, that's the piece I missed. Okay.
So now refresh it and see if that gives the magic. So ideally, we should see the web server part.
Mine is created.
Sorry, what happened?
I said mine is done.
Yeah, is it working? It says
It's working now.
but for me, I still I was able to save it, but still I am not able to move forward. Means front end, I have this IP rules counts right now nothing. Right now these IP through when I'm accessing, I'm still not able to access. Till I get that, we have to work on it. So right now still not going forward. No problem. Let's do one more thing because it health count. So let's do health count. So let's see, we did this one, we did this one. Now we are going to do health prop to make sure that our server is running. So health prop. Now click on add. Because it's HTTP, it's not be a difficult part because it's HTTP. So I'll say web server. Protocol, I'll use HTTP. And I'll say interval second, let's say just for craziness, I'll do maybe 1 second. So this value must be 5. So that's right, 5. Now here, what we are saying here is our load balancer will check our backend port with HTTP, and if the protocol HTTP and port 80 means it will try to port 80, and it will see if there's a 5. If 5 times if it gets error, sorry, interval into every 5 seconds it will try. If there is an error, then it will mark as this machine is not running. Right now, see here, health prop are used to check the status of pool instance. If the health failed to get the response, then it will mark that it is not. In that case, for example, if I have 2 machines, if one is giving error, then it will load balancer always send traffic to other one. Right now, I have only one to just save the idea. So I did that. At this moment, what is the reason we are not able to get yet what we call traffic? So I'm thinking our load balancer is not able to talk to our machine, right? Is someone stopping the load balancer because we are sending requests, still not getting that. So what is the one breaking here? What do you guys think? What is breaking? Try HTTP. Let's try this. Ideally, by now it should be up and running.
Is that the public address?
It is a public, right? That's what we got. This is our front-end IP address. Let's see overview. So it says web server HTTP. We have load balancer rule. Let's define the load balancer rule. So I'm going to load balancer rule. Until it is done, we are not done yet. Means that's the error. Means we have something wrong, right? So let's click on load balancer rule. Load balancer rule is add. Just checking the add. And here I'll say simple IP4 front end. This one is a front end. Please understand. Simple front end. So front end is here. Back end. So this was I think missing. That's why it is not. It did not have a wiring. The wiring was the problem. So simple IP. If somebody called this one, it should go to this VM port 80. Backend port also 80. Health probe, which is this one. Session persistent. I would say client IP means same person. Ideal timeout 4. Enable TCP request. We don't have to do any of them. Make sure you understand these 4-5 things are important. You can write any name. Our IP is this. This is your front end, and this is your back end. TCP is TCP. If someone requests front end port is 80, the back end port is also 80. So if you want to configure 8080, you can do that. If your server is running on 8080, then you can do that. And this is a session affinity. So sometimes in exam, people ask, can you do session affinity? And say yes. Rest of things, no problem. Save it. Save it. And now refresh if it does magic. And ta-da! Give me thumbs up.
Now it's working.
Awesome. Did you guys learn something today? See, guys, it takes time. Guys. It takes time to do all those things. Trust me, I can tell you this type of lab, if you do it, you become a super duper knowledgeable. Think about you added one machine. If I do the similar way, additional machine, it's not a big deal. The only thing backend pool is going to change. If I stop this machine, traffic will be routing. So please do some homework like this. I don't have time to do other lab, but at least next week we'll do partial VNET peering and all. So at this moment, any questions which is using for this lab, where you say, oh my God, I did not understand anything specific which causing trouble or confusion. If you really understood, give me thumbs up. If not, ask questions.